morning. Keith Tebow here on FRC Media. Time for our weekly conversation with the mayor of the city of Fall River. Please be joined by Mayor Paul Coogan once again. Mayor, how are you today?
Doing fine, Keith. How about you?
I am doing well. Let's get started. It was announced this week that Police Chief Jeffrey Cardza would be taking a leave of absence for medical reasons with the intent to retire in March. Captain Paul Gauvin, now I guess acting chief Gauvin, has been appointed to serve as acting chief. Can you give us, first of all, Mayor, a little bit of a timeline about how all this came down in terms of Chief Cardza and his decision to take that leave of absence?
Obviously Jeff and I are close, and we've been talking a number of times. And he told me that he was not feeling well. He said, "I've been fighting some health issues for a little while," and he wanted to go to his doctor and see what the recommendations were. And the doctor said to him, "No, you cannot. You can't continue like this. It's better that you take the break necessary." As I said, he had already been indicating he was going to leave in March. He had put in for his retirement. So we're talking a few months, and for the good of his health, he decided to move on.
You know, it's not been a very good year for the Fall River Police Department. There have been a number of issues that have come up in the media surrounding some officers' allegations of using excessive force in the past, and officers not properly documenting evidence in some cases. As far as you know, did any of this play a part, I guess, in maybe some of the conditions that the chief has been dealing with?
He didn't refer to any specific incidences like that, Keith. Obviously, a lot of those issues are from years when Jeff was not the chief. So I mean, he did inherit them, and he was working his way through them with the rest of the guys in the department, and they were obviously not positives for the city of Fall River or our police department. But I believe, by and large, under his tenure, you did not see incidents like that happening to that level. Obviously, there's always problems when you have 200 or 300 people in anywhere, whether it's Amazon or the Fall River Police Department or South Coast hospitals, where you put a lot of people together. A lot of different issues come up. I think Jeff did an admirable job on both the COVID monitoring and the protests, and I'm sorry to see him go. I hope he gets himself together so that he's only a relatively young man, and maybe he'll do something else in the community to help us. But let's get healthy first.
Yeah. Let me ask you, finally, in terms of the chief, outgoing chief, I've spoken with him in the past, and he did mention that, there with all this going on, morale was not always the best within the department, even this year. From what you understand, did the officers in that department hold the chief in high regard?
The ones I talked to did. As I said earlier, when you have any kind of group dynamics with that many people together, pulling people in different ways and all having different opinion, it's part of the biggest responsibilities you have to manage are these individuals. No one came to me specifically and ever, said anything negative about Jeff. You'd hear dribs and drabs here and there, but it was never anything uniform that would come forward and say, this is what we're dealing with. So I'm not a member of that group, and I know that they voice their opinion traditionally when things aren't going the way they want, but they didn't come to me about that.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what can you tell us about now acting Chief Paul Gauvin? What does he bring to the position?
Paul's had a number of positions in the police department. He's moved his way up from sergeant to lieutenant to captain. He recently was heading major crimes. If you remember, some of the things that they've been working on lately, obviously, was the Griffin Park tragedy, the recent situation between the police and an individual, resulting in someone passing away, to say it nicely. But those are the kind of things that all fell onto Paul Gauvin's lap. I never got any complaints from Jeff about anything. He had a team there in major crimes that was watching out for the best interest of the city. I've known Paul for a while. I knew him when he was just a young kid, a baseball player. I knew his brother. I'm hoping as an interim, he's got 90 days. We're going to run him till March when the chief leaves. If he's able to make some positive changes in the police department, we'll assess at that time. But right now, it would be the idea would be that maybe when we come out of the other side of the winter, we do a search. We see if someone from the outside's interested. But again, if it's somebody in-house, I'm very much a fan of people that know the ins and outs of departments and a city getting promoted. I'll make no mistake about that. I did it with Jeff, and I'll do it in most cases. So if there's a way to do it, I would like that. But let's see how he does. He's gonna hit the ground running. He was in there yesterday as the acting chief, and he's there again today. So let's see how it goes.
Now, you have no timeline in your mind other than that March date when the chief retires and acting chief Gauvin has his 90-day window. You may even decide to keep him on longer in an acting role, and there's no timeline on when a new chief would be appointed.
No, I'm going to do what's best for the Fall River Police Department and the guys over there. I'll be meeting with some of the other. I was over at the station yesterday myself talking to one of the other captains. I went down to his office and we sat there and talked for probably 20 minutes, a half hour. I'm going to go around and get opinions from people that are in the building. I want to hear what's going on. I want to make sure that we're doing the best thing we can for the city of Fall River. And that's going to be my goal. And as I said, I'll be meeting with some people today also. And let's see if we can get this going. We have a big city. There are a lot of pressing issues, and I'm not going to lose sight of those. That's where the focus will be.
Yeah. All right, I want to shift gears. It's been a while since we've touched upon the pandemic here in Fall River. In recent weeks, Fall River, as other communities across the country, have seen a little bit of an uptick in terms of COVID cases. Has there been anything you've heard from Tess Curran, the director of the health department, as to any concerns that she may be seeing in terms of the number of COVID cases here in the city?
Well, I think, again, the numbers are bubbling up, but I don't think they're as severe as that first wave that hit us. It seemed like we had a lot more hospitalizations, a lot more deaths. But at this time, it's like a lot more cases. I don't think they're as severe as the first go round, but I meet with the Tess regularly, and we're not at that point yet.
All right. Also, as we move forward, we want to let people know that there is going to be a series of, again, vaccine clinics held. I believe there's one tomorrow, and there's a couple next weekend, again, in city schools. Our vaccination numbers still lag behind the rest of the state, but are you seeing any positive movement in that venue at all?
No, we're kind of moving along at a slow uptick. I know our first vaccine is over 60%, where you have other communities in Massachusetts that are in the 70s easily. I'd like to see us get more people vaccinated. I think that's the way around it. I think the news that Pfizer put out this morning about their vaccine being effective against the new Omicron, or whatever they call it, strain of COVID. I think those are the kind of things people have to be aware of, realizing that they'll be able to keep themselves out of the hospital, keep themselves away from the ultimate tragedy, and it will fight off the severe cases. Then that's what they should be focused on. I mean, you might get it. I hear that all the time. Well, you can still get it, okay, but it's not going to be to the severity that that first wave that came through here and packed our hospitals and tore people up.
All right, and finally, one sort of good news note, if you will. The traffic
That's funny.
department
That's
has.
funny that you're bringing up good news, Keith. Go ahead. I
Well,
mean,
I
we
mean,
can. Yeah.
It's good news depending on where you are on this issue. The traffic department has announced that those individuals who may have parking tickets, they're having their amnesty again this year, which means
Right.
that you'll be allowed to pay your ticket. You still have to pay your ticket, but not implement any fees. And this has been a sort of a good way for the city to, I guess, give back in some ways to the community for the holiday, right?
Yeah, we usually do this amnesty, and I know it's going to be done again, and I hope it encourages people to catch up on any past due fines they have. So let's hope that works also.
Yeah, I know. It's always good. I guess it's important to note that, if you have a ticket that's on your record, you won't be able to renew your driver's license or your
Right.
registration, I believe. So that's a big hindrance. So take care of that between now and I believe the first week of January. So it's a wide opportunity for people to pay their bills without any late fees. So that's the way to do that. Again, and a lot of that holiday activity this weekend, Mayor, with the Festival of Trees right downtown there in Fall River, the
Right.
Creative Arts Network with some programming this weekend in terms of a concert and a holiday tour. So again, a great opportunity for people to get out and enjoy the city this holiday season.
Right. We had a great weekend last weekend with the parade and the concert at night and the tree lighting. And again, I guess we're just going to keep the ball rolling this weekend with the events, both in Government Center and around in the surrounding areas. So we encourage people to get out and enjoy Christmas in Fall River.
Yeah, and the weather's supposed to cooperate. I think it may get up to 60s on
That'd be
Saturday. So
great.
may not feel like Christmas, but at least it'll look like Christmas. All right, Mayor Paul Coogan, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thanks, Keith.
All right. And thank you for joining us as always here on FRC Media. Have a great day.